when we're talking about officers, we're not talking about just your average everyday individuals. These are people who are constantly and consistently interacting with the public, who are held at a um, uh, in a who are held to a higher standard, if you will. I mean, such as myself as an elected official. We have to be responsible for the words that we put out there and the information that we put out there.
And so as a result of what you saw on social media about what this officer was saying, what are you able to do about it?
We can decide not to take cases from a particular officer if we have reason to question that officer's judgment, discretion, their truthfulness, or what have you. And in a case like this, we immediately reached out to the Chief Bernsen in that particular department, and my initial thought was we were not going to accept cases from this officer until further notice, and until we got a chance to do our own investigation, which might have included talking to this officer to, we do want to get both sides of the story to make sure that we understand the context and things of that nature. And perhaps it is and perhaps after we conduct an investigation, we might see other instances that are cause for concern, or maybe nothing else. And in that case, we could act accordingly. In this case, my understanding is that the chief had already saw these inappropriate texts or social media posts, I should say, and had suspended the officer. And so I have to tip my hat to the chief for taking proactive actions toward these inappropriate posts, because again, these are public posts. These are posts and information that is broadcast out to the world, and we're talking about a particularly tenuous time that we're facing now, in which case we have protests all over the country, including this region, and for legitimate reasons. We all saw what happened with Mr. Floyd and how he was killed, and that it was caught on camera. And this is not the time for reckless and inappropriate comments. Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't characterize it as a warning. Police officers have one of the toughest jobs in the world. But what I would say as a matter of advice going forward with elected officials, people who hold, who are in the public domain and hold the public's confidence, like officers, that we should all be aware of what we're saying and the impact of what we're saying. Yeah, it's true enough, we have First Amendment rights, but there's also consequences to the things that we put out in the public domain. And when you are dealing with the trust and confidence of the community with law enforcement, which is a very highly held confidence, myself and officers and other leaders, we should be aware and careful about what we say, and know that people are listening and people are relying on not only our actions, but the things that we say. I've been very encouraged at the restraint and that they have conducted themselves with. And those are individuals that are out there on the front lines. And then to see another officer just making these kind of irresponsible comments, as far as I'm concerned, as the St. Louis County prosecutor, and I think I speak for a lot of people in this region, constituent citizens, this type of irresponsible behavior will not be tolerated. So I would just remind everyone that, this too shall pass. However, there needs to be some affirmative steps and actions for this to pass. We can't just close our eyes and snap our fingers and hope it goes away. We have real issues that we have to deal with. And I've been an advocate of community policing for reasons for situations, because of situations just like this. We have to we have to build those bridges and relationships between the community and law enforcement, and that's the way we move forward and heal this region in this country.